Okay, settle in, get comfy. I'm gonna tell you all about my backstory. I know I'm sitting on the floor, but I find sitting on the floor kind of comfy, so let's roll with it. Okay, so my backstory. I went back and forth to the doctors for years and years and years in my early 20s, and I knew that something wasn't quite right. Eventually, after about 5 or 6 years of going back and forth to the doctors, I was finally diagnosed with endometriosis. But my journey to get there was not straightforward. When I was about 15, I got put on the pill, and this was very much a sticking plaster for my very painful periods that I was experiencing. And I was on the pill up until I was about 23. It was very much a sticking plaster for the situation that was actually going on internally, which is why I am vehemently against this whole giving out pills without giving women the attention that they deserve. The pill should not just be given out as a sticking plaster. That pain needs to be investigated, and we shouldn't just be taking the pill to disguise those symptoms. I digress. So I took the pill for a long time, and then when I came off the pill, I had a really bad reaction. So I had hives all over my body. I was experiencing a lot of pain. Fast forward a couple of years later, I was just about to start a new job, and I had this really strong pain in my abdomen that gradually grew worse, to the point that the paramedics came out. They examined me, they couldn't find anything. So I was rushed to hospital, I went to A&E, and having waited for 7 hours, it was then decided that I had a ruptured cyst, and that was what was causing me this excruciating pain. It was a solid 10 out of 10, let me tell you. Like, oh, so bad. So anyway, they suspected at this point, after the ruptured cyst, that I had endometriosis. And the only way to diagnose endo is to go for what's called a laparoscopy, which is keyhole surgery. So I went for the keyhole surgery, and they found that I had stage 4 endometriosis. Stage 4 meaning that it had gone into other organs of my body. So endometriosis is a gynecological condition. However, it can spread to other areas of the body. It can spread to the bladder, the bowel. It can present in the lungs in rare instances. And I think there's even very rare instances of it being in the brain. So yeah, very much a full body disease and not exclusive to the reproductive organs. In my situation, endometriosis has mainly affected my bowel. So in 2020, just before the pandemic, I had to have a section of my bowel removed because endo had essentially destroyed it. It had killed off this section of my bowel, and my bowels were not working properly. So I had the portion of my bowel removed, and then I was given a stoma to try and give my body a little bit of time to heal and recuperate. The plan was for that stoma to be in place for 2 weeks, but because of the pandemic, it actually ended up being 2 years. So 2 years later, I had that stoma reversed, put everything back in its normal place. I was kind of replumbed, if you like. Now I have had a stoma-free body for about 2 years, but I am facing the possibility of having another one. I am going back for surgery probably early 2025. The reason for that is that sadly all of the endometriosis that they removed in the last surgery has since come back. The thing with endometriosis is that it's like poison ivy. So basically, endometriosis occurs when cells that normally grow inside the uterus start growing outside of the uterus, and they can spread to other areas of your body. The problem with these cells reproducing and spreading throughout your body is that they cause a lot of pain and inflammation. So I liken endometriosis to poison ivy because it can stick your organs together. So for instance, in my situation, my ovaries were stuck to the front wall of my pelvis. There was a section of my bowel that was stuck to part of my uterus, I believe. So everything gets very cramped, very congested, very inflamed, and that in turn causes a lot of bloating, a lot of pain, a lot of discomfort, and all sorts of symptoms. Like for me, I get really bad fatigue. So I have moments where I can't get out of bed. I am in a lot of like all over body pain. It really is a full body illness, and I really want to stress that because endometriosis is not just a bad period. Let's say that again. Endometriosis is not just a bad period. It is so much more than that. It is a vastly underfunded, under-researched gynecological condition that affects 1 in 10 women, which is just fucking crazy. Like, how do we not have better healthcare? How do we not have a treatment for this disease. It's just mental. It is absolutely mental that we are not further forward with this. In the past decade, it doesn't really feel like anything has changed. And I am really fearful for future generations that may go through similar to what I've gone through because, quite frankly, we deserve better and we're going to advocate for better. And that's where this community comes in. This community is all about women being heard and being listened to. And that listened to is key because women are speaking out, they are telling their story, but they are not being listened to. And by that, what I mean is no action is being taken, or a little bit of action is taken, but nothing really changes. You know, we are so far behind in terms of research and understanding these gynecological conditions that women are experiencing. And that is something that I really want to advocate for change.